Linda Joy Myers.
Thank you. Colors at the piano. When my body was small and pale, I lived with my grandmother in the middle of the Great Plains. Her piano would lay itself before me, its language locked behind black and white marks on a staff. But one day the mysteries of the music opened to me. Stunned to read this new language, I played the notes and watched as each bloomed into its own color. The wine red of B flat, the dark purple of E flat, the beige F. Then I didn't know that my grandmother had left my mother when she was 6 years old, the same age I was when she rescued me, seeding a generational pattern that mother repeated. No one spoke of these things. No one would talk about the ghosts of the past that hovered around us. What I knew then was this shattering brokenness between them. When I was 20, my mother made it clear I was not welcome as her daughter where she lived. No one knows I was married, so I can't have a daughter, right? I gazed at her in disbelief. There were no colors or soft edges that could protect me, so I took it in the stomach where it would live for a long time. I tried to convince my mother, for the next 30 years, I tried to convince my mother that I was a worthy daughter, to understand why we were all painted in such dark colors, why the broken and shattered family. The darkness that haunted my grandmother and mother came to rest on my shoulders and in my body, in the heavy weight of muddy colors. Years later, when she was in the hospital with cancer, she denied me once again, but I bore the wound quietly. I found out that the doctor ordered a psych evaluation. Finally, I knew for years that something was wrong with my mother. The psychiatrist's soft eyes were full of compassion as I told him about the shattered dishes and the lost girls and my grandmother's craziness also. It had a name, this thing, manic depression. Yes, it runs in families, he said gently. The last few days of my mother's life, I returned to Chicago. I saw someone unrecognizable in the bed, bald, emaciated. It had to be the wrong room. This was no one I recognized. Just then she saw me, and a wild, keening sound arose in her. Tears burst from her eyes. She reached toward me. The grief for all we had lost, for the wasted and painful years, burst in me, and we sobbed together for a long time, our tears mingling on our bodies. I had a vision then of the unfolding of time, how it wafted back through the generations, that she and I were made of the moments, these moments that had passed between us, as well as all the moments that we had lost. Our lives and our psyches were woven with this wispy stuff of soul, and now we were together. It was the beginning of the rest of my life. Now I get to the poets, right?